The hype is deafening. Headlines everywhere shouting about GPT-5 as the future of AI. Some call it the biggest leap in AI history, promising human-like reasoning, long-term memory, and creativity that rivals prose. But here's the burning question nobody's asking out loud. Is GPT-5 truly the revolutionary breakthrough we've been waiting for, or just another overhyped tech bubble about to burst? Does it really understand us like a human? Can it solve complex problems flawlessly? Or is it still just a polished version of what came before? Stay with me until the end, because in this video, I'm peeling back the curtain on GPT-5, dissecting every claim, every promise, and every real-world result. You'll get the full picture, what it can do, where it falls short, and the crucial factor that could decide if GPT-5 dominates the AI world or quietly fades away. And best of all, I'll break down the next 8 key points that explain everything you need to know about this AI sensation or flop. If you want to separate hype from reality and make smarter decisions about the future of AI, hit that like button, subscribe, and don't forget to ring the bell to get notified when the deep dive drops. Let's get into it. Number 1. What GPT-5 promised to be. When OpenAI first hinted at GPT-5, the tech world didn't just see it as the next model. They saw it as the next leap in human-machine interaction. The teasers painted a picture of something that wasn't merely better than GPT-4, but something fundamentally different. We're talking about reasoning that feels human, not just throwing out facts or probabilities, but connecting dots like a seasoned debater, weighing trade-offs, and even identifying hidden implications you didn't directly state. Imagine asking a legal question in GPT-5 not only citing the law, but pointing out the loopholes you didn't think to ask about, warning you about potential consequences, and suggesting a safer path forward, all without you spelling it out. Then came the promise of long-term memory, a system that wouldn't just remember what you said 5 lines ago, but could recall a conversation from months earlier, with context and emotional nuance intact. That meant no more re-explaining your goals, your preferences, or your past instructions. It could be like talking to an assistant who's been working with you for years, one that remembers your exact tone, your creative style, and even that one joke you made last spring. And the cherry on top? Creative capability at a level to rival human professionals. Not just generating text or code, but designing entire brand campaigns, writing screenplays with natural pacing, composing music that evokes real emotion, or crafting legal contracts watertight enough to survive in court. For developers, it meant turning vague napkin sketches into production-ready apps. For writers, it meant a creative partner who could brainstorm endlessly without running out of fresh angles. The marketing narrative was intoxicating. GPT-5 wasn't just an AI model. It was positioned as a kind of digital polymath, capable of shifting between lawyer, designer, therapist, analyst, and novelist without breaking stride. The metaphor everyone kept using? This wasn't going to be the jump from GPT-4 to GPT-5. It was going to be like leaping from the Wright brothers' first flight to a supersonic passenger jet in one move. No gradual steps, just pure acceleration into the future. But here's the risk of painting your product in sci-fi colors. When people expect Star Trek's computer or Jarvis from Iron Man, even a massive real-world improvement can feel underwhelming. The line between impressive and disappointing gets razor thin. And that's exactly where the controversy over GPT-5 began brewing. Number 2, the big leaps in technology. Let's give credit where it's due. GPT-5 isn't just an incremental step forward. In some areas, it feels like a genuine jump into a new league. First, the context retention is nothing short of impressive. While earlier models like GPT 3.5 or GPT-4 often felt like they had the attention span of a goldfish, GPT-5 can maintain a coherent thread over incredibly long conversations. We're talking weeks or even months if the memory features are fully enabled. This means you can start a project today, come back 3 weeks later, and GPT-5 will pick up exactly where you left off without you needing to recap every little detail. For writers, researchers, or business strategists, that's a massive productivity boost. Then there's multimodal capability. GPT-5 doesn't just handle text anymore. It can process images, audio, and in some configurations, even video input. That means you can drop a product photo and have it write a compelling sales pitch, feed it a snippet of audio and get a detailed transcript with tone analysis, or upload a chart and get a full breakdown of the underlying data. For creative professionals, marketers, and analysts, it's like having multiple specialized tools rolled into one, and they actually talk to each other. And the reasoning ability? Noticeably sharper. In GPT-4, you could sense when it was guessing or hand-waving its way through a complex problem. GPT-5 feels more deliberate, often breaking down a challenge step by step and explaining its reasoning process in a way that makes sense. If GPT-4 could help you write a blog post, GPT-5 could help plan your entire content strategy, from audience targeting to keyword research to formatting, complete with suggestive visuals and even a publishing schedule. It's like the difference between hiring a freelancer for one task and hiring a strategic consultant who understands the bigger picture. From a developer's perspective, the change is just as striking. Working with GPT-5 feels like working with a colleague who not only knows your codebase inside out, but also remembers the bugs you've fixed, the features you've tested, and the design decisions you've made. This means far less repetition, fewer "remind me what we were doing" moments, and a smoother, more natural back and forth that's actually collaborative rather than mechanical. Still, and this is the catch, even with these leaps, the question remains, do these advancements actually meet the lofty promises that had everyone expecting the AI equivalent of teleportation? That's where the debate gets interesting. Number 3, where GPT-5 disappoints. This is where the honeymoon period ends. The moment when the glossy launch videos and sleek marketing claims start to meet the messy reality of everyday use. On paper, GPT-5 is smarter, more capable, and more contextually aware than anything before it. But in practice, the cracks start to show. Despite the improvements, hallucinations still happen, sometimes spectacularly. Ask GPT-5 for a specific historical event, and it might confidently invent details that never existed. This is especially true for obscure or extremely niche topics. If you're digging into 15th century trade routes or the fine print of small countries' tax laws, you might find GPT-5 weaving a tapestry of plausible sounding fiction. Then there's the pace. Ironically, some users report that GPT-5 actually feels slower. Why? Because it's trying to be hyper-precise. It analyzes, cross-checks, and refines before giving you an answer, which is great for accuracy, but maddening if all you wanted was a quick, no-nonsense response. The AI equivalent of someone who takes 5 minutes to answer yes or no because they're busy writing an essay. Another subtle frustration is what I call the polish problem. GPT-5's tone can be too clean, too curated, almost like a corporate press release. Sure, the grammar is flawless and the structure is impeccable, but sometimes you just want a straight-talking assistant, not a robot CEO. This overpolish also plays into one of the biggest criticisms. It can still fall into repetitive loops. Ask it for creative variations, and you might get slight rephrasings of the same idea, over and over, wrapped in elegant language that hides the lack of genuine diversity in thought. And here's the real kicker. For all the hype about GPT-5 thinking like a human, critics argue it still feels like a very advanced parrot, mirroring, remixing, and regurgitating, but never truly originating. It's an incredible tool, yes, but for those expecting a leap into AI consciousness, the reality can feel underwhelming. Number 4, how businesses are actually using it. This is where GPT-5 quietly redeems itself, not in flashy sci-fi demos, but in the trenches of real-world business. While the internet debates whether AI is truly intelligent, companies have been putting GPT-5 to work in ways that are far less glamorous, but far more profitable. In customer service, GPT-5 is becoming the unseen backbone of chat support. It can handle the repetitive, high-volume inquiries that used to bog down human agents, freeing them to focus on the trickier, more nuanced cases. The result? Faster responses, fewer frustrated customers, and lower operating costs. In research-heavy roles, it's a time saver on steroids. Market analysts who once spent entire afternoons gathering data now have GPT-5 doing the heavy lifting in minutes. Imagine needing a competitive market report. What once took 5 hours of digging through articles, PDFs, and spreadsheets can now be generated in under 30 minutes, complete with summaries, data comparisons, and even visualizations. That's not replacing human expertise, that's amplifying it. Even in industries where precision is critical, like law and finance, GPT-5 is making inroads. Legal teams use it to draft contract frameworks that lawyers can then refine. Financial teams are tapping it for rapid report generation, spotting trends, and even suggesting cost-saving measures based on historical patterns. It's like having an extremely fast, detail-oriented junior analyst who never gets tired. The key is that businesses aren't blindly handing over the reins to AI. They're using GPT-5 to supercharge human teams. It's the multiplier effect. The AI handles the grunt work, the humans handle the judgment calls. That kind of efficiency translates directly into speed, savings, and ultimately, profit. And here's the bottom line. While the public is still divided on AI ethics and long-term impact, corporate adoption of GPT-5 is skyrocketing. Because in boardrooms, efficiency isn't a cool tech trend. It's a competitive advantage. And GPT-5 delivers exactly that. Number 5, the public perception problem. Here's the tricky part. The average person doesn't care how many hours GPT-5 saves a Fortune 500 company's research team, or how much it boosts corporate efficiency. They care about something far simpler. Will this make my life better right now? That's where the gap starts to show. If you log in expecting to be greeted by a flawless, all-knowing digital best friend, someone who understands your humor, never makes mistakes, and can solve every problem instantly, you're going to feel let down. GPT-5 is powerful, yes, but still not the magic genie many people imagined when they first heard the most advanced AI ever. Some users complain that GPT-5 feels too safe. It avoids anything remotely controversial, steering away from edgy humor, political debates, or strong stances. It's the polite dinner guest who will happily pass the salt, but refuses to discuss anything more heated than the weather. Others wish it had more personality, less neutral, more opinionated, willing to make bold predictions even if they turn out wrong. Part of this is intentional design. OpenAI and the companies building on GPT-5 know that one wrong sentence can become a PR nightmare. They've tightened filters, added guardrails, and trained the model to err on the side of caution. But for some users, that caution reads as blandness. The result? A mismatch between ability and expectation. GPT-5 can be brilliant, creative, and deeply helpful. But if you're expecting an AI that's equal parts best friend, debate partner, comedian, and psychic, reality will feel underwhelming. The real problem might not be GPT-5's actual intelligence, but the hype it's constantly compared against. It's a lesson in human psychology. Disappointment isn't always about what something is, it's about what we thought it would be. And right now, GPT-5 is battling not just technical challenges, but the weight of its own myth. Number 6, competition is catching up. Here's the uncomfortable truth that OpenAI probably wishes would stay in the background. GPT-5 no longer has the playing field to itself. For a brief moment in AI history, OpenAI could unveil a new model and the world would drop everything to marvel at it. That era is over. Anthropic's Claude 3.5 has gained a reputation for being more thoughtful, measured, and context-aware, especially in long, nuanced conversations. Google's Gemini Ultra is flexing its deep integration with search and other Google services, making it not just a chatbot, but a portal into the world's knowledge in real time. Meta's Llama models, meanwhile, have embraced an open-source approach, meaning developers can customize, tweak, and run them without paying hefty subscription fees. These aren't just superficial differences. Some models are noticeably faster in responding to large prompts. Others are dramatically cheaper to run at scale, and a few offer personalities that feel warmer or more relatable than GPT-5's carefully neutral tone. For example, Claude fans often describe it as more human in its reasoning style, while LLM-based assistants can be tuned to sound quirky, blunt, or even snarky, traits that some users actively seek out. The wow factor OpenAI once owned is no longer guaranteed. Where GPT-3 and GPT 4 felt like leaps forward that left everyone scrambling to catch up. GPT-5 now finds itself in a tighter race. The innovation cycle has sped up. Competitors are releasing updates every few months, often leapfrogging each other in specific benchmarks: coding ability, factual accuracy, or creative storytelling. This shift changes the psychology of the market. When there's only one clear leader, customers will tolerate quirks, high prices, or missing features. But in a crowded field, loyalty is fragile. Users who once swore by GPT may now hop between platforms depending on the task. A quick draft here, a research deep dive there, a playful brainstorming session somewhere else. The danger for OpenAI isn't just losing a head-to-head performance comparison, it's losing mind share. Once people start thinking of GPT-5 as just one option among many, rather than the option, the brand's gravitational pull weakens. And in tech, once that aura fades, it's almost impossible to fully get back. Number 7, the sensation versus the flop argument. Now, let's circle back to the heart of the debate. Is GPT-5 a groundbreaking sensation, or just another incremental flop? On one side, the AI enthusiasts are practically heralding GPT-5 as a masterpiece of engineering. They see it as a transformative force that will reshape entire industries, from education to healthcare, content creation to customer service. According to them, GPT-5 represents the dawn of a new era, where humans and machines collaborate seamlessly, creativity is supercharged, and complex problems can be solved at lightning speed. They point to its improved reasoning, longer memory, and multimodal understanding as signs that we're on the cusp of something truly revolutionary. But then, you have the skeptics. They argue GPT-5 is just another step on a long evolutionary ladder. To them, it's an impressive tool, yes, but not a game changer. They say that while it improves on past models, it doesn't quite reach the sci-fi level of intelligence or autonomy many hoped for. It still stumbles on nuanced reasoning, occasionally hallucinates facts, and lacks genuine understanding or consciousness. For these critics, GPT-5 is less a leap and more a steady march forward. Here's the truth. Both sides might be right, depending on how you look at it. GPT-5 is a technical marvel, pushing the boundaries of what AI can do today. But when expectations are set at magical, sentient, or miraculous, even a monumental leap can feel ordinary. It's like watching the first moon landing and expecting a teleportation device. The awe is real, but the gap between hope and reality creates disappointment. So, whether GPT-5 feels like a sensation or a flop often depends less on the technology itself, and more on what you hoped it would be. Number 8. The real test is yet to come. Here's my personal take. The true legacy of GPT-5 won't be written by the model alone, but by what the broader ecosystem builds on top of it. Think back to the launch of the first iPhone. At the time, critics called it an overpriced iPod with a phone. The initial hype didn't match the reality, at least not immediately. But within just a couple of years, the App Store revolutionized how we interact with technology, turning the iPhone into an indispensable tool that transformed industries, lifestyles, and communication forever. GPT-5 is at a similar crossroads. The raw technology is impressive, no doubt, with improved reasoning, longer memory, and multimodal capabilities. But the real game changer will be the creative applications, products, and platforms built by developers, entrepreneurs, and companies who harness that power in innovative ways. If GPT-5 becomes the foundation for a new wave of AI-powered tools that reshape how we work, learn, and create, it will go down in history as a sensation. People will look back and say, that's when everything changed. If, however, it ends up as just another incremental upgrade that fails to inspire fresh innovation, it risks fading quietly into the background, remembered merely as that one upgrade after GPT-4. The clock is ticking, and the real test is only beginning. The factor that will decide everything in my verdict. Here's the final, make-or-break factor for GPT-5's future success: the speed of its evolution. In the fast-moving world of AI, resting on your laurels is a recipe for obsolescence. Even if GPT-5 is a technical marvel today, What truly matters is how quickly OpenAI can respond to user feedback, squash persistent issues like hallucinations, enhance reasoning capabilities, and keep pricing competitive for a broad range of users. This isn't just about incremental improvements. It's about rapid, continual innovation that keeps GPT-5 ahead of the pack. Because the AI race isn't won by who is smartest right now. It's won by who can get smarter, faster, and more adaptable over time. Competitors like Anthropic, Google, and Meta are aggressively advancing their own models with frequent updates and new features. If OpenAI can't match or exceed that pace, GPT-5 risks losing its edge and becoming just another option in an increasingly crowded market. In this high-stakes race, nothing is guaranteed. The future belongs to those who innovate relentlessly and adapt even faster. So, sensation or flop? For me, GPT-5 is a sensation in potential, but only a partial success in practice so far. It's a leap forward, but not the quantum leap some were expecting. If you go in understanding its strengths and weaknesses, you'll be impressed. If you expect sci-fi levels of intelligence, you'll be underwhelmed. So what do you think? Is GPT-5 a groundbreaking sensation or just an overhyped flop? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one, and if you want more deep dives like this, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon, because the AI story is just getting started. Thanks for watching.